morning, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I'm standing here as a result of a conversation with Kevin Donnelly, our development advisor, as we were telling him about why things are taking a little longer and what we're going to do about that. Kevin said to me, would you like to come up and talk at this event? Having not been to one of these events, I imagined it as a fireside chat because he kind of told me there'd be a few people, no script needed, and you get one slide. So I better tell you what I told him just to make sure the story's straight. We have been in the UK now for 3 years. We've been primarily for the last couple of years building our software platform, working with pilot customers. And those customers have been large contractors working to service large social housing stock for refurbishment, maintenance and emergency repairs. Our route to market had been to work with these guys on tenders, new business, and therefore be part of it from the very start and get in and provide some real value add and innovation which was badly needed for their clients. What we quickly saw with the oncoming of Brexit was decisions were slowed, tenders were pushed back, current contracts were extended, and so myself and my business partner here, Owen, had sort of gone back to the blocks thinking, you know, we're reacting here, we're part of a tender that's created. How do we become part of the planning, the budgeting side of that? How do we get in at the early stage? And the people that we would have seen as the influencers, people like Camden Council, who's now a customer of ours, would have been the people that we want to mandate our software into those customers like Carillion, Lakehouse and so on, large contractors. So what we had to do was look to see what really makes these guys make a decision quickly. What's the event that we could create that would allow them to write a check, or as Kevin Sherry said earlier on, are you in the budgets? And that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to be in the budget, which we thankfully have now succeeded to do, although it took quite a long time. So what we had to do was we formed research groups with those influencers. We understood their problems, and we had to extend our software platform to allow for those problems to be solved. So now, instead of making sure that what you want to get done for fixing refurbishment happens exactly to specification, we tell you what needs to get done, so you can tell your contractors who, when, where, how much. We allow the residents to log in and tell them that there's a problem. The devices tell us there's a problem, and we proactively get people out there to fix those problems, all happening through our platform. So that was sort of how we sort of changed our model and came about it. What we also realized was we are a platform as a service, and we thought we could sell annual licenses to everybody, and that's the way they want to pay. Because of the changes and budgets are tightening and margins are already tight in terms of the construction market, as I'm sure anyone involved knows, we had to change to a cost per deal. So our cost is embedded into every fix, every refurbishment, and all those activities, and that's how we get paid. So what we needed to do was go for volume. So that meant obviously having to get somebody very big on board and them be our new champions and make sure that everybody else that is on their supply chain has us included and mandated in that. So that was sort of our chat to Kevin and what it was about. And the impact of that really is that things, sure, they've taken longer. We've needed more money, and we've had to look at our current investors, and EI are one of those, to extend what we're doing. But the upside of it is that 2017, now our numbers are assured in terms of what we're doing. Most of that revenue now in 2017 is actually going to come directly from those influencers who are now customers, led primarily by Camden Council, with 4 other councils being rolled out in London. And that's our main area, and Northern Ireland as well, and very little here in the south, in the Republic of Ireland. So from us, the learning curve has been, it's been hard, it's been a longer journey than we hoped, but I guess without Brexit, we wouldn't be talking to these new customers now. That would have happened for us probably in 2018, maybe further out than that. So Brexit for us has been an opportunity, and they say necessity is the mother of invention, and that's certainly the way it's been for us. Brexit is, I can tell you, I went to Gatwick yesterday and the border patrols were out in force. There must have been 20 cops. There were sniffer dogs. There was people inspecting the cops. It was a show of force to let people know this is happening and it's happening fast. So for us, we've made up our mind. We found a plan that works. There's still money there and lots of it. It's just looking to see which part of the supply chain you need to tap into first to get hands on that cash. So they asked me would I take any questions, so I don't know if anybody has any questions, apart from Owen, who always asks questions. Would anybody like to know anything about anything I've just said?
So we have two roving mics. So if you have a question, if you just put your hand up, and the mics will come across to you. It's important, obviously, that everybody hears the question as well.
Don't feel bad if there's no questions.
We've got a question over here.
Hi, Gertrude O'Rourke, Nexus Innovation Centre. Just wondering, if you were to do it all again, what would you not do?
I would have gone straight for the influencers, obviously, who are now the new customers, and saved ourselves definitely a year of chasing the others, because the others come on the back of these guys. You know, we're mandated into contracts and stuff now, whereas before we were going the other way around and representing, you know, the Carillions and those in terms of their tenders. So we could have saved ourselves a lot of time, but I guess without being pushed into this situation, we didn't understand that.
We have a question at the back.
Thanks, Neil. That was really informative. Sarah here from the Cool Food Company. I was just wondering, in terms of how it's shifted your view of other export markets globally, and what would have been, you know, your main focus, and how those focuses have realigned in terms of your other markets, because we're kind of going through that at the moment.
So we're part of a Horizon 2020 project. We've 19 companies from 9 EU countries. So we were from the start heavily focused on the EU and other markets, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, where energy upgrades and retrofits are kind of, you know, big news there and so on. So we'd always an eye in those markets, but to be honest, the growth and the size of the market opportunity in the UK is so big, and again, we're small, you know, we're taking in seed funding, so we don't have huge resources, so we felt we had to sort of now stick to our knitting, get over the line in 2017, and then look at the end of this year to see have we hit our numbers, have we done what we said we do, and then maybe with a Series A is how we plan to expand into the EU. So that's our view on the world.
Great, and we've time for one more question. No more questions. One more question in the centre here.
Thanks. Kieran Doyle from Soft Potential. How are you mitigating your currency risk? Presumably you're doing business in sterling.
We are. So we set up a UK company, so Irish company to invoice UK company. We did that primarily because we felt that the large contractors and councils, the procurement process would be easier. The Carillion process, Owen will probably testify to this because he went through it. It took us a few months to happen. We just did Barnet Council in 10 days. And I think a lot of that was due to, you know, having a UK company, credit history there and so on. On the currency side, because we've now had to, I guess we've got lucky because we now have to redo how we price. We've put in that sort of extra margin, that buffer. And it doesn't mean an awful lot because it's per deal, so it looks quite small at £11 or so on per transaction, but it allows us to overcome that. And it's software, of course, so it won't have as big an impact as manufacturing or food or any of those type of things.
Great, thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much.